Ralph, this was one of those games where you maybe see the score bug in the corner of your screen and see, wait, like, am I seeing this right? Is Omaha, the Summit League champs, are they hanging around with St. John's, a team that's built on toughness, that's built on physicality, that's built on defense? And yes, they did. They did for a solid half, and then St. John's executed what we have seen them do for the majority of the season. They ran away with it in the second half, completely shut the water off on an Omaha team that finished the game shooting just 26% from the field. How do you explain that first half, and what did St. John's do to change it, flip their fortunes in the second?
We had talked about it in the preview, Riley, that at some point before the second TV timeout, there was going to be a Rick Pitino timeout, and the camera panned to him being angry, yelling at his team on the side. They'd eventually rebound and win the game by 20 or 30. And they ended up winning by 30. Omaha came out with energy that St. John's did not, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Omaha came out with belief that they were going to pull the upset. And you see this with certain mid majors, and Omaha's a team that's had that kind of attitude throughout the entire season. The way they beat up trash cans tells you they have the kind of attitude. But they came out ready to play. And St. John's missed a couple shots, wasn't totally, into the game. And Omaha took advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
St. John's fought back into it. I thought so St. John's took the lead. It was about 5, 6 minutes left in the first half. It's the first time St. John's took the lead. And Omaha quickly got it back. About 4 minutes later, got it back to within a bucket. At that point, I thought we might have a game, and that was the first time I really thought that this might really be a game. Then we went
Mm-hmm.
in at halftime, and it was clear 30 seconds in that it was over.
I felt similarly. It kind of played out like one of those typical games where you know what the higher ranked seed is capable of. You know that, yeah, sometimes whether it's nerves, confidence, or a mixture of both, uh, but it just feels like it's a ticking time bomb until the better team runs away with it. I will give Marquez Sutton a huge shout out. Excuse me, Marquell, did not mean for that disrespect. Marquell was really good in the first half of this one and kept Omaha in it. He was really their only source of offense, and he was someone who, in the preview, I kind of put on alert like, oh, I don't think he's going to fare well against Aaron Scott. He's probably going to shut him down, turn the ball over a lot. Still finished with 3 turnovers, didn't make a shot in the second half, but at least you got to tip your cap to him for
Mm-hmm.
making timely plays, making like some of the splash plays, like got a couple dunks on just a really physical defense. And yeah, I mean, I think like there was that one play, it was early first half, excuse me, late first half, 22-20. The lane parted like the Red Sea, and Sutton just drove to the basket for an emphatic slam. It's things like that that you were not used to seeing out of St. John's, really, for the better half of league play. That kind of makes you take a step back, and where I
Mm-hmm.
see where you're coming from with maybe thinking we get a game. But yeah, that second half was just completely St. John's just exerting their dominance physically. They held Omaha to 1 for 12 down the stretch of this game from the field and just completely choked out any life from them.
I mean, how many times have we heard that St. John's wears you down? And that's one of the strategies is that they wear you down. It looked like they wore Omaha down. Like
Hmm.
Omaha did not have the same spirit in the second half. When St. John's came out ready to play, which you knew they would when Rick Pitino had them in the locker room, and he's questioning their toughness and doing all those things you see in the
Yep.
Vice documentary, that I think Omaha realized that St. John's took it to a level that they did not have.
Hmm. Yeah, and kind of going into that, we can, attribute it to effort. We can attribute it to the energy Omaha came out with. Sometimes it really is that simple in these matchups where one team is so much clearly better than the other. We hit on the preview where Omaha have been shooting the ball really well since January 2nd. I think they're 44% as a team, which has opened up more baskets on the inside, but just running into a buzzsaw of a defense that can do this to you. I mean, they shot 5 for 36 from three in this game. It did not make a difference. But would you say there's anything that Omaha did in the first half that at least gives you a little bit of pause for St. John's going into their next matchup against Arkansas? Like, did Omaha give a blueprint at all, at least how to hang around?
I will say, now this is the first 10 to 15 minutes. If Omaha was able to get into the lane the way that they were and kind of work on the glass the way they were in
Hmm.
that stretch of the game, and you extrapolate that to Arkansas for, let's even say, 30 minutes, that's going to be a problem for St. John's.
I I agree. I think, Isaac Ondekane, he had a really good performance. It's like I don't think he's the biggest guy height wise. He definitely has the frame to hold up against against some of these power conference guys. And I thought he acquitted himself nicely on the glass. I think the numbers play that out to where if whether it's Arkansas or another team that they play in the future can kind of match the physicality on the glass, at least I could see them testing St. John's. Um, but yeah, as a whole, I still think you probably attribute it primarily to a bit of a sleepy effort from St. John's that their coach woke up, whether it was at the timeouts or at halftime or
Yeah.
combination of both.
Look, St. John's won the rebounding battle by two in this game. Two. And they made 14 threes. One of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country. And
They
now,
were
like,
hooping from three. They were
yeah, that
they were
wasn't like what won them the game. The fact they made shots they normally don't, because you won by 30. But things went right for St. John's.
hmm
That helped them kind of get out of this. But if Jonas Adu, we'll get into a full recap. But if Jonas Adu plays like he did, and Trevon Brazil plays like he did, and Arkansas does win the rebounding battle by a significant margin, nah, nah,
It could happen. It could
yeah,
happen. I mean, yeah, even with like I'll keep going back to it. It does feel sort of fluky. I do generally agree with what you said with the energy part, but being down by I think they were down what, 6 with 8 minutes to go in the first half. That's not really something you want to see even as you're fighting through jitters. Like again, give all the credit to St. John's for winning by 30. I think anytime you win by 30 in the tournament, you win by 30 in the tournament. Like don't make light of that. Don't overlook that.
yeah,
I guess my greater point is they just can't fall down like that again where they're losing some of their fundamentals defensively and when they're losing focus on the glass because they're just a better teams are gonna make you pay for that. And that's
yeah,
your identity too. Your identity is defense, your identity is toughness, your identity is not letting anybody beat you in any of those like physicality type of stats. And to let Omaha match you for a little bit is yeah, that's the only concern I would say. But as a whole, again, they flipped the switch in the second half, slammed the door shut. The defense was back to its usual self.
yep,
And yeah, you just can't complain when you hold a team to shooting 25% and 14% from three.
no, not at all.
It is March, and that means that March Madness is upon us. And if you are looking for a place to play, Underdog Fantasy has you covered. Sign up and deposit using code SLEEPERS, that's code SLEEPERS, to receive up to $1,000 in bonus credit plus a free pick. Head over to Underdog Fantasy today and use promo code SLEEPERS to take advantage of this amazing offer.